All right, all right. We are back with another episode of Red Hill Racing. I'm Ben Knight, joined with Mr. 43X, Dustin Lee. What's going on, brother?
Oh, just a Tuesday night with a 2 hour episode for our people.
Oh, yeah, 10 o'clock Tuesday night. We're going strong. We don't sleep, y'all. This team no sleep. That's hashtag for this off season,
Me and Ben's
isn't it?
getting grayer and grayer. We need
Ah,
haircuts. We're looking like crap.
oh man, I'm
My
gray as
beard ain't got
shit.
no gray, but I got it up here. That's for sure.
By the way, this is unofficial poll. I had a haircut, I don't know, whenever it was, but we started on the sides to see. So this next upcoming haircut's going to determine. I need y'all to weigh in. Am I bringing the mullet back? Because if I
Bring them
do,
on. Yes.
it's it. This is it. Because there ain't no more after this. It's commit now and do it one last time in my lifetime. Because after that, it's going to be gray, gone, whatever.
Bring it back. Oh, no. Hell no. That thing would be awesome silver, too. Bring it back.
But look, no, I'm serious. We my last haircut with my friend, she cuts my hair. Shout summertime. Summertime. She's like, what are we doing? I was like, you know what? I was like, trim the sides. She's like, are we doing a mullet? She's getting excited. I'm like, we're gonna leave the door open for the mullet. So we only trim the sides. We didn't touch the back. We trimmed the sides and the top. So we're gonna see. So I want y'all to
Yeah.
let us know. Let me know. Message
Y'all
me.
be telling him
Comment.
to send it. Send it. Like, we
um.
need the Rowdy Ben Knight back. Come
That's
on with
right.
it.
That's right. That's Darnell's signature. Not safe for work. Not safe for work. Yeah, it's definitely not safe for work. No, this
Yeah.
one wasn't that bad. We were honored to have Eric from MTC Engineering join us tonight. Man, it was a good one. We'll get into that in a minute. We want to tackle some stuff though, housekeeping, our due diligence. But first and foremost, we got to shout out our sponsors. Some are new, some are repeat from last year. We love them all. University of Wynn, BMF Motorsports, Hard Times Parts and Service, Schnitz Racing, MTC Engineering, Penske Racing Shocks, MPS Racing, Worldwide Bearings, BST Wheels, Brock's Performance, and DME Racing. Um, Appreciate them. Support those. They're supporting us. Okay. If y'all haven't heard, we have totally revamped subscriptions. Okay. We're going to tell y'all why, and we're going to tell you how it's worked. And if you don't know, so last year, we didn't know what we were doing. We still don't. That's okay. Y'all are
We
along for the
didn't.
ride. No, we got an idea. We know what's going on. Anyways, we did the dollar subscription last year. It only took $1. If you were subscribed, you could donate more. We appreciated more. Subscribe for 5, as Dustin said. And that was cool because we got some prizes from sponsors. We got gift certificates, and we wanted to give those away to everybody that supported us. And it
Wait a
helped.
minute. Before you go on,
Okay.
what kind of led to this change was we got more
Yeah.
support, like products. They wanted to
Oh
give
yeah.
more products this year than we did last year, right?
Yep.
So we tried to figure out a way. Okay, if you want to give product, that's cool. We want to give back too. So we thought about the little bundle packs that Ben's got going.
Yep.
We're going to give you a little care package if you're a subscriber, right? Once we get all the shirts ordered, yada yada. So we just made everything from being kind of like a little over here, a little over there, and just one package deal done.
Yep.
Right. And that's what led to the change because it was so overwhelming. We had such a very spectacular first year that it led to this year of companies wanting to be involved and to be involved in the show and the podcast and this and that, which is exactly what we wanted.
A
And it
hundred
led to
percent.
this. It wasn't we didn't chase more really. It just happened, and we're thankful for it. And we appreciate all the companies that does support it and supported us last year when it was just a kind of a iffy thing. And thankfully they trusted me and Ben. And
Yep.
we're thankful that we have a reputation that they can trust us. And we're even more thankful that everybody is right back on board and then some this year.
Yep. Exactly. So as Dustin pointed out, we gained some giveaways and stuff as we went on last year. So, we didn't know what we were working out with, and we wanted to make it affordable and touch as many people as we could. But at the end of the day, from fees online and every dollar we were getting like 60 cents. We're not trying to get rich on this. We aren't.
No,
But
it's
we
just
do.
got to work.
Yeah, but we do spend a lot of time doing this. So it would be nice. Y'all have heard us talk about being able to get some ice cream for the kids. And look, we're gonna get some ice cream for the kids, but here's what we came up with. As Dustin said, we had so much support, and I'm gonna go down the list. We just decided to revamp the whole subscription status. So here's what it is. And we didn't want it to also be just a straight gamble, right? So there is no longer $1 subscriptions. And we apologize if that, is outside of a budget constraint or whatever. We get that. Not
But
everybody will be able to.
there may be later a donations thing if you want to donate. Just donations. It won't get you in any spots or anything. It's just a donation.
Yeah, if you feel like that. But here's what we came up with. And like we said, we apologize if it doesn't fit everybody. But what you're gonna do is you're actually purchasing a Red Hill swag pack. Okay. So you're paying for a product. You're gonna get a custom Red Hill Racing t-shirt. It's the first t-shirt we've ever done. It's gonna have all our wonderful sponsors, as you can see, on there along with the Red Hill logo. So you're getting a t-shirt and with this package. You're getting a koozie because I mean, Darnell likes to party, so you got to have a party koozie. You're getting decals. We tried to hand those out. We did hand out a lot for free last year. We handed out some koozies free. You're getting those. You're also going to get a new tool that I think y'all will love.
Can't
I
talk about
can't
it.
I cannot quite tell you what it is yet, but it is a $30-40 value. I came up with this. Darnell came up with this. I'll give him the credit. Darnell came up with this in, late at night, and Dustin will verify it's pretty cool. It is a track tool you can use. I guarantee it. So you're
Darnell
getting
calls me a lot with ideas, so
that.
this one stuck.
Yeah, this one's stuck. So I'm actually, and I can't show you, but I'm looking at one, two, three, four, five, six different prototypes on my desk right now. So as soon as I can announce it, and it'll probably be in the next 2 to 3 weeks, we'll tell you exactly what it is. But you're getting those four things. You're getting a t-shirt, you're getting a koozie, you're getting the decals, or as my buddy from north of the border would call them decals, and you're also getting this brand new, never before seen,
$39 tool is
because it's
what the
got to be my
price is
race
going to
number.
be.
Yeah.
It's got to
So
be 39,
with shipping and everything, you're basically getting, I think we figured up like 75-ish dollars worth of value.
if not
Is it?
more.
Yeah, if
Right.
not more. But that's not all. That's just what you're actually getting. And is it cheap? No, it's $100. But look, there's only 200 spots available. We're not selling a single more over that. And if we don't get but 98, that is all you get. Now, what you get is the bonus, and this is where all the giveaways come in. You get entered into every single giveaway, and we will do one every podcast the rest of the year. And
And
now,
only you. So if people
yeah,
don't sub up quick, there could just be 40 people in the
yeah,
first giveaway. Who
and it
knows?
is what it is. So yes, sub up now, get a spot while you can, because we're pretty sure we're going to sell them out. I mean, y'all gamble all the time on Facebook with these giveaways, but I'm going to read you the list of what we have committed already, and there could still be some
Huge.
potential ads. So, um, our buddy, Mr. 483X, he's got some t-shirts, some tumblers. He's got plenty of stuff that we're going to fill in between our big giveaways. We're giving away one University of Wind subscription for the year. That's over $600 value there. We're giving away two BMF Motorsports carbon fiber seat pans. Whoa, what is that?
You done
There
a
we go
two and
with
it
that
held up
shit
balloons.
stuff. That what? There was another one of these. This
The thumbs up.
oh
The
this
thumbs up.
what was that? I feel like this was on the what's StreamYard. I feel like that was on our
Oh, the
live
thumb
app.
popped up.
Did it?
It was in your background. It was in your background. It was on your nose. Right there it is. That way.
I don't see it.
The background's
Sorry,
hiding it.
squirrel. Squirrel. All right, man. I don't know. This is wild. Zoom's wilding out right now. It's like I'm doing hand motions because I'm Italian and all, and it's like trying
There,
to
oh,
freak with me.
yeah.
All right, don't point those out. All right, back on track. All right, we have two BMF carbon fiber seat pans. We have $50 gift certificates from Schnitz Racing. Again, plenty of those. We got $50 gift certificates from MPS Racing. Plenty of those. Then we get into our newest sponsor, DME Racing. DME, they went a little overboard. We have one top triple tree clamp set for Hayabusa. This is stuff that is actually in transit right now. It will be sitting here ready to ship out for the winter. We have one triple tree top for Hayabusa, right? Then we have two sets of rear sets, one for Hayabusa with the rear brake, one for ZX14. Then we have 3 billet oil pans. I believe we have a 1.5 inch Hayabusa pan, a 1 inch Busa pan, and I believe it was a 01 to 06 Gixxer pan, right?
Yep.
Okay. So we have $2,000 in DME giveaways. Boom. Moving on to next. Penske Racing Shocks is back. You know, our boy Dustin, he couldn't get one up. He had to come bring in the heat this year. So he
Yeah.
said, let's give away five shock services. Those are like $200 value each, I think, might be more. Five of those, five separate winners there. And yes, he's bringing it back again. The 89.75 shock. Somebody's going to win a shock. If you recall, at the end of last year, we had to get a little money to cover the subscriptions for our podcast player, our website, all that stuff. So we did sell some extra spots into the shock giveaway. That's not happening this year. We're telling you, whoever gets in on this, you are locked in. So we have the 89.75 shock we're giving away. Boom, our interviewee tonight, Mr. Eric at MTC. He is giving away a Gen 2 clutch. A Gen 2 clutch. Dustin
Whole
will
ass
tell you how much
clutch.
those cost.
Whole ass clutch. I mean,
Whole
two
ass clutch.
grand easy, you
Yeah,
know.
way over 2 grand retail.
Yeah.
We have a clutch and we had to build it up a little bit. I met with my old employer a couple weeks ago. They're on board. Brock's Performance paired up with BST, paired up with Worldwide Bearings. We are giving away a set of BST wheels over
Unbelievable.
$4,500 with ceramic bearings. Brock's Performance,
Woo.
BST, Worldwide Bearing. Look, y'all, this is we're a little off here and there. It's right at $15,000 in giveaways.
It's
So
nuts. It's
recap,
nuts.
recap. Go online to our website.
Oh, did you do the BMF seat pans?
Yep. I did those. Two
Okay.
of them. Two
Okay.
of them. Yep.
Okay.
So, and there could be more stuff added. It
We got
wait
one
we're
more
waiting to hear
spot
back
right
from
here,
one
right there
person.
available.
Yeah, one
Yeah.
company get back with us. And if not, it's not a big deal. We're just waiting to print the shirts. Okay. So just recap. We have a max of 200 spots. Yes, they're $100, but you're actually getting stuff. You're getting a t-shirt, you're getting a koozie, you're getting decals, you're getting my new track tool.
The
Okay.
giveaways is just a bonus, guys. You're basically buying this kit
Yeah.
and thanking us for having the podcast, and then you're getting the giveaways for free. Basically,
And
I mean,
then
okay, it
yes,
might be
you're
$20 shy or something, but
yeah.
that's buy ice cream. Damn it!
Yeah. Yeah, that's our ice cream. The extra 20, $25, we're splitting that for ice cream for the girls. Okay. So recap, 200 spots. We've actually already sold 30 of them. 30 of them. There's only well, actually, we're getting ready to give away some too. We'll get to that in a second. But there's a little over 160 left. You'll get a swag pack, which will ship out in approximately 4 to 6 weeks with everything we mentioned, and you're entered in every giveaway for the year. Go subscribe. Don't think about it. I know y'all are some degenerate gamblers like myself. Go buy it.
Yeah,
You're gonna
I mean,
get this stuff.
I will say this: like, we have an ideal number in our head that we need to make the numbers number correctly to pay for stuff and make everything math and
Yeah.
what we need. And it's, I'm gonna be real with y'all, about 100. We like to at least get 100. If we don't get 100, Dustin might be doing some mini giveaways on his personal page to give spots away or something. I'm just saying, but
But look,
we need to
sign
get
up.
that 100.
Yeah.
Sign up. Just sign up. You ain't got to do quantity 5 no more. You just quantity one kit. You're
And
done.
it's not just a gamble. Y'all are getting
No, you're buying
tangible
a
stuff. I'm
package, and I'm
shipping it out.
telling you, the $39 Ben Knight racing tool is the bomb diggity. I'm just telling you, I'm going to play buy 4 of those.
Well, you're probably going to sell them. I need to
I
talk to my.
absolutely going to sell them.
I need to talk to my dealer network. We're gonna have a
Yeah,
dealer
I'm
network.
absolutely going to sell them for
Trust me,
sure.
y'all are gonna love this. It was Darnell's idea. It's
Oh,
hilarious. It's hilarious and useful. It's
yes.
2 in 1. It's 2 in 1. Okay.
Yes.
All right. We got that out of the way. That's why if you are a loyal subscriber, we love you. We thank you so much. I'm sorry I had to cancel the subscriptions, but it's a new year, it's a new platform, and we are giving away, thanks to all these wonderful sponsors, $15,000 worth of product.
Man,
We're
I
giving
mean,
it
I'm
away.
ecstatic.
And we are, go ahead.
It's unbelievable.
And
Like what we just now told
yeah,
you that we're
I'm
going to
stoked.
give. You're not paying for the stuff. We are giving it away. Like
Yep.
you're buying a bundle package with a shirt and some stuff, a tool, and to basically thank you to us for the podcast. The doing that, it gets you in to do this. Hell, buy one for your wife in her name. That way you got 2 spots. I don't care. Put it in your
Good.
cousin's name, your sister's. I don't care.
Well, that is a
Your
good point.
dogs.
That is a good point, though. We will address that. Dustin gave you a little hack
That's
if you're a
legal.
real degenerate, but we are going to
That's
limit
legal.
it to one person per spot. So if you're,
Person,
yeah,
person,
one
email,
name,
all one
one name.
time.
Yeah. So if you want to be a degenerate, which I think we got a few, they could sign up their
I'm
dog.
cool with degenerates. Like we
Anyways,
need you.
we love y'all. We love y'all. So we wanted to explain that. That's what's going on. That's why if you're a subscriber, that's why your subscription got canceled. We love y'all. We appreciate the support. This year's going to be epic. It already is. And thanks to these awesome sponsors, I'm excited to give away all this stuff. It's great.
I want to point that out. Last year at 2023, in 2023 at PRI, we ended Epic, and then
Yep.
in 2024 we're beginning Epic, and
Yep.
we're not stopping. We're going to keep going. Yes, we're going to do them every other week now because we do have life, y'all. But I got motorcycles that's sucking the soul out of me every day lately. But
Well, it gives us
this,
time to make a better show too. As you
right,
can
we're going
see,
to have more
we're trying to be,
content.
yep.
We're going to be able to think about it a little bit more instead of just feel like we're rushed. Even though we work very well under pressure, there has been many a times we come on here and have no clue where we're going. But me and Ben just communicate well, right?
Yep.
And we just figure it out. And obviously, we communicate well with others because we had someone on here tonight that we just had a great conversation with for 2 hours.
Yep. Yep. And we're getting to that. One last thing. As a thank you to all of our loyal subscribers that were on our $1 program and some sub more. And we even had a couple new subscribers like recently in the last 2 to 3 weeks. So we're getting ready to give away 5 things right now to what we call our old list from last year. Basically anybody who was subscribed for the dollar amounts. Okay. So we're giving away a gift certificate to MPS, a gift certificate to MTC, and then 3 spots into the new giveaway. So if you win one of these, you don't have to pay the $100. You're getting the swag pack and you're entered in all the giveaways. So this is our last hoorah. Thank you to all of our OG dollar subscribers. We appreciate you. You ready to do this? Let's give some stuff away.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a good thank you for the ones, even the ones that might have subbed up a month ago. It
Yep.
gives them
Yep.
some love, you know.
All right.
So,
Can you see my screen?
yep, sure
All
can.
right. Here we go. We are going with the MPS gift certificate.
Okay.
We're
I got to write
rocking.
this
We're
stuff down.
rocking. Yep, yep. Dustin's going to write it down for us. We're going to go right through it. Um, we are going to remove the name for this one so that we get 5 separate winners. Don't need no repeats.
Oh, that wheel, big wheel keeps on turning. She's
Man, I must
turning.
have the settings on. This is going to take a second.
Yeah, you
I'm
can't
sorry, I might have
check. You
changed
just
it.
got to
Yeah.
let it, just got to let it go. Maybe you
All
can
right.
change it before the next one.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm scared. All right,
All
we
right.
got
I'm slowing
what I
down.
say? MPS.
MPS is what I got at the top of the list here.
Let's see here.
Oh, man, it might be Mama Liz.
Is that Mama Liz?
Yeah, I think so. Oh,
Know what?
nope.
It's going to be one of our latest and last dollar subscribers. Congratulations,
Wow.
Pam Rogers. Pam and Don literally signed up, I think, 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, they're actually local to me. They live at Windrock Park.
That's
It's pretty
awesome.
cool.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, they're a winner. Okay. Boom. I'm hitting it again because it takes a second. This is for MTC $50 gift certificate.
Yep.
Shout out to Eric, who y'all get to listen to next. We had an epic conversation. We really hope y'all enjoyed it. Dust and I were just thrilled. It might not be the usual quote unquote excitement, but look, Eric brought us through the long history of MTC, how he got involved. We thought it was super interesting. Eric
Yeah,
didn't
I'm
come
talking
from
before we were
racing
alive.
motorcycles.
Shit.
Yeah.
Like
He did not come from racing motorcycles. He bought this business and man, he's done a phenomenal job. So we hope you
all right.
enjoyed it tonight.
She's slowing down. Here we go.
Slowed up. Who we
Uh-oh.
gonna get?
It ain't gonna be baby brother, is it?
Big brother.
Oh,
Is
big
it?
brother. I'm sorry.
Well, he
Bro,
looks
it
younger
might
than me.
be. If
What's he
it
gonna
ain't,
do
you
with
know
it?
who it's gonna be? You know who it's gonna be? If it goes to the next one, peanut
Wow.
butter. It's gonna be peanut butter.
That's only fitting
Oh,
that Mr.
Farmer gets
James
one.
Farmer won again. He was on a heater there. I think in the first 3 months of the podcast, he won like two or three giveaways.
New
Okay.
year, new me, baby. You back in the
Yep,
game.
back on it. Okay. Mr. Farmer got the MTC gift certificate. This is for the new giveaway. Somebody's getting the
$100
swag
value
pack.
right here.
Yep. And they're getting entered into over $15,000 worth of giveaways.
This is a big
And
deal. You should.
yeah.
Most people have to pay for this. Just saying. This is awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, we're doing three of these.
Yeah.
Like we said, this is a big thank you to all of our subscribers. We wanted
Yeah.
to we wanted
And
to at
especially
least
the ones that was late in the game that just now subbed up for
well late
sure.
in the game, but most of them, Dustin, were committed from day one. Most of
Yeah, I
these
know. Yeah.
subscriptions I had to cancel to do this new deal. Like they've been day one and they had really 12,
Uh-oh.
13 months. Who are we gonna be at now?
I think it's going to be one I don't know. You know who that is? I don't know who that is. Is it going to stop on them?
I don't know.
Might
I
get the
got a
next one.
spreadsheet.
Nope. We're the next one.
Cameron Belize. Is that
Bilal?
Belize?
Bilal?
Sorry, Cameron.
Bilal?
Congrats,
I don't know.
Cameron.
Me
You
write
are
this down
in.
before you clear
Yep.
it off because I'm going to spell that last name right if I
Yep.
have to here. Copy it.
You are now into the all 2024 giveaways plus a swag
That's a
pack.
big deal right there. I'm not even in that giveaway.
I know it does suck we can't be in. Got it? All right,
Yeah.
that's one down. We got two left. And if someone happens to win that has already subbed up, I will refund you $100 because you can't
Wow.
have two entries.
Yeah. Not unless they want to put it toward like,
Not unless your wife is in it.
yeah.
Or your dog.
Yeah. Or your dog or your
Or your
cat
brother. Or
or
your
your
cousin.
goldfish.
If you want to finesse the system, as long as we don't have
Hey,
two of the
we don't
same
have a rule
names.
book, damn it. You can play with the
Yeah,
gray area.
exactly. Get Spencer Claycomb in here. Oh, I didn't
Yeah.
say that. No, just messing with the Amish guy.
Rules are meant to be broken. Uh
Let's see here. Who's it gonna be?
oh.
Is it gonna be our girl?
Is
Is it
it
gonna
might
be our
be?
favorite track girl?
It might
Can't be
be.
our, well, I shouldn't say favorite. We love
Oh
all you
no.
track girls.
Yeah, we do.
We love you, Rebecca. Who is it gonna be? Chris or Robert?
Oh,
It's gonna
oh, it might
up
be
Chris
Chris
Bishop.
Bishop.
Congrats, Chris. You are in. $100 swag pack plus 15K in giveaways.
Got it.
BST wheels, Gen 2 clutch. Let's see. Boom, last one up. We
Here
got
we go.
MPS gift certificates, BMF Motorsports carbon fiber seat pans, University of Wind year subscription, Penske Racing Shock service, Penske Racing Shock. I mean, come on, y'all. If you don't feel
It's
the
nuts.
excitement, it's 10, 15 at night.
Nuts.
We're working for y'all. This is it. This is it. Who's it gonna be? Who's it gonna be?
Still going really
Click,
fast.
click, click.
All
Yeah, yeah. Here we
right.
go.
I
Here we
think
go.
it's about to start slowing down. Here we go. All right.
Last one.
I like trying to like look ahead and see if I can
Yeah,
figure
yeah.
out who it is. It's almost like bracket racing.
I'm gonna call my brother right now. It's a little ways off. We'll see if he gets it. I'm gonna make him pay if he does win.
Oh my God. No, it ain't gonna get to
Nah,
him.
it didn't
It's
go
gonna
that far.
stop. It's gonna stop right there on that red one or the ones near it. No, it's gonna stop on the blue one. Hang on.
It's gonna be John. Looks
Yeah, it's
like
gonna be John.
gotta be John
The Groggly. He buys
DeGriglio.
parts from me. Yeah.
All right, John. Congrats.
John.
Oh, John.
You'll know
Okay.
it.
Yeah, I
You'll
got
know.
it.
I'm gonna write it the best I
Degree.
can.
Hold on. I'll spell it for you because I got a spreadsheet. Just tell me when you're ready.
I'm ready.
Hold on. I lost it. I scrolled too fast. Here we go. DeGrigoli. I got it. Did you get it? Just send it to
No.
me.
Did you see how fast you said that? I'm writing
I'm
here, not
hyped up. I'm
typing.
hyped up. You're
D
gonna send
E
it to me.
G R I G.
Goli. We got it. That's what happens when a redneck and a hillbilly get
DeGrogly.
together. Yep.
DeGrogly.
Oh, there you said perfect. That's gotta be it.
Yeah.
All right, y'all. That's it. That's the news for the new year. Y'all better be signing up because I see y'all gambling on giveaways and groups and on people's. Boo Brown does a Zuma raffle once a month. Dustin's best friend Jeremy England does motorcycle raffles once a month. Y'all better be supporting this because you're getting something with your money, and then you're also getting into all these giveaways. All right, that's it on that. We have Eric at MTC join us tonight, like we kind of briefed already. It's really cool to learn how Eric got involved. what all MTC does. Just a lot of cool stuff going on. So, anything else you got, or should we let them fly?
Uh, get your aunts and uncles and your cousins and brothers and sisters subbed in on this deal. Let's get it. Come on.
All right, y'all enjoy this interview with Eric from MTC. Support our sponsors. They're doing a lot for us and for y'all. So support us, enjoy the interview. Let us know what you want to hear and talk about coming up. And also, I need to know if I'm growing a mullet. Let us know.
Yeah. Please request a mullet, guys. We got to bring it back.
All right, we'll see y'all later.
Peace.
All right, we got the man himself, Eric from MTC Engineering, is here with Dustin and I, and we are super excited to have our buddy here to talk about all things MTC. Y'all know about the clutches, but there's so much more. Welcome to the show, Eric.
Hey, glad to be with you guys, and I'm looking forward to spending some time with you guys, and maybe bring everybody up to speed, kind of the history of MTC.
Oh, we're excited about that. That's one of the things I told you before we hit record. I was like, I don't know. I mean, like, I have a really good background of most people in the sport, but I really just don't know your whole background. So I was telling you like, hey, that's not first on my list. I want to know that. But we got to say thank you to you and your company, MTC. You guys jumped on board right away with us last year when we started that. That meant a lot because we didn't have anything to show. We just said, hey, we're doing a podcast. We called it Red
Just a
Hill
redneck
Racing.
and a
Yeah,
hillbilly going
exactly.
at it.
And we appreciate your support because you were on board from the get-go. That means a lot. And it just shows how you approach business and this sport as a whole. So we're appreciative of that and glad to have you guys back for year two, round two.
Sure. We're always looking for something, positive to promote the business and the industry. So, I knew right away with you and Dustin that this would be a very positive thing, and you guys would focus on the positives of the industry. And when we can get behind something like that, it's good for everybody. So we were glad to jump on, and you talk about a redneck and a hillbilly, and I always make fun of the Amish guys. So tonight we got the Amishman, the redneck, and the hillbilly. So
All right, there we go.
I don't know
Hey,
if you my
look.
last name, Hochstetler, that's about as Amish as you can get. And I'm
Say,
one generation away. I'm one generation. My grandparents were Amish, so I truly
okay.
come from the Amish.
I
Yeah.
mean, we call Spencer Amish, and he's one of our best friends. So you fit right in here.
Well, say say your last name again because I don't know if you keyed in, but as I started to introduce you, I was like, nope, I'm not going there. Like I'm not butchering your name right off the bat.
I pronounce it in our family line, pronounce it Hochstetler with a long O. But it's spelled 4 or 5 different ways. Some people pronounce it Hochstetler. Some people pronounce it Hochstetler with a D. So it's spelled 4 or 5 different ways. Probably the way that we spell it, it's the Amish way. So,
Okay. Well, that
I
just makes me
just
feel good because I definitely would have murdered that name real
I
bad.
just say Eric at MTC.
Yeah.
Problem
there
solved.
you go. You need the last name. So it's all good. So,
The clutch guy, the
Yeah,
piston
yeah,
guy.
there we go. There we go. For sure, for sure. Awesome. Well, yeah, let's just jump right into it, Eric. How did you come about getting involved with MTC? Because as Dustin kind of let me know, you purchased the company at some
yeah.
point, right? So if you want to maybe bring our listeners up to speed and really me, I'm excited. I want to know the background, like business as a whole interests me. I don't care what it is. Our family has a communications business. It's not super sexy. It's fiber optic and copper cable, but just business in general. I'm excited to learn about any
Absolutely.
business in the background.
So I'll just give you a little bit of background as much as I know about the company MTC Engineering, and then kind of where I came into the picture, and then kind of where I'm taking the company or where I want to take the company, and how we're getting to that point. So
Awesome. Awesome.
um, MTC Engineering the company started in California, and it was actually called MC Components. I still have old pistons, old boxes around that say MC Components on it. And the M and the C was the first letter of the last name of the two guys that owned it. And then
Okay.
the third gentleman came into play by the name of Tipton. And that's who everybody knows because Ken Tipton, bought out the other two guys. So there's where the T came into play, was MTC Components. And then when Ken bought out the other two, he changed the name to MTC Engineering. Ken was man, he was just quite an entrepreneur. If you ask any of the old guys that are still in this and that knew Ken, I get calls all the time, and oh yeah, is Ken still around? And of course Ken's been gone for quite a while, but I have got just stacks and stacks of drawings where Ken was making one-to-one drawings of parts like gears. I mean, he was laying out gears and input shafts, doing it all
Wow.
by hand on a drafting table. It's unbelievable. And so
Wow.
he would make these drawings and make copies of it and send it out to some supplier, and off of his hand drawings they would make the components for him. So
Huh.
pretty amazing man. So he bought it from the other two guys, and then he moved it to Florida. It started in California. He moved it to
Hmm.
Florida in 1975. So
Oh
a lot
wow.
of years of history. Yeah. So it's been
Yeah,
about
this is pre-Dustin no one right here.
it may predate you a little bit, Dustin. I'm
Yeah, I
not.
wasn't alive yet.
Me too. Me too. Not gonna act like I'm
Yeah, I was around. I had some diapers on, but I was around.
There we go. All right, that works. That works.
So then he had it from 75 in Florida to 1995. So he had it for 20 years. And during that time, he developed a relationship with Tony Lang. That might ring a bell with you guys. Tony was
That's who I know.
top fuel racer. Yeah. Tony was, and he sponsored Tony, and they developed a relationship. And then in 1995, Tony bought the business from Ken Tipton. And
Okay.
Tony had it from 95 until 2005. So he had it for 10 years. And in that time period, he married Elmer Trett's daughter, Gina, and had a couple kids. And Tony was a true tool and die guy. Even though he was a top fuel racer, his background was in tool and die, and had some great skills, and really, really moved the business from kind of a hand. The joke used to be, if you didn't like the piston you got on your last order another one, because it'll be different than what you got last time.
I mean, sometimes them old files get a little tired. The hands get tired, and they're out there cutting them.
When I took over the company, I had a guy that was still working there that actually had been there long enough that he worked for both Ken and Tony. And he would tell me they had a form tool. They'd put a piston into a manual lathe, and they would shape the dome, with a form tool, which meant, it could be almost anywhere at any time. So,
oh, wow.
There's a lot of work. And Tony brought in some CNCs. I don't know that Ken had any CNCs, because, 90, anything before 95, he might have had one or two in, but I think Tony brought most of them in. And then in 2005 is when I came in. And so how I got into this business was, my background is in engineering. I've got a bachelor's degree in mechanical engineering. And for about 20 years, I was in what they call a tier one automotive supplier business. We made parts for Ford, and Chrysler, and Toyota, and Honda, and all sorts of. I was in injection molding. I was the director of engineering for a company, and we had 8 plants around the country, and was managing about 40 or 50 engineers.
Wow.
Yeah, and
you scaled down.
A lot.
You scaled down. It sounds like.
So went a little bit smaller. So
yeah.
You know what it is when you're doing that, when you have that role and you have that position, just working a ton of hours, always on the road. And I had 3 little girls. I wanted to spend some more time, with my family, and
I can relate.
Stress level in automotive is unbelievable, because automotive forces you to very small margins. Now you got nice volume, you're guaranteed nice volume, but the margins are tiny. So 1 or 2 little mistakes, and you're done with that product line. So very stressful. And I was originally from Indiana and did most of my work up there. Came to Florida. One of the VPs that I'd worked for up there convinced me to come down here and help him out with one of the supplier companies, and he needed help with. So I came down and managed his engineering group down here. And then about 3 or 4 years after that, it was a privately held company. And the guy that brought me in had a big falling out with the owner. And so he was going to move on to another company. And I was at the level, when you play at those levels, a new guy comes in, he wants to bring his own staff in. So I knew that was going to happen. The new guy would come in, and he didn't really let me go, but it's just typical. I mean, you just got to move on. And so you got to kind of move on with it. So
the collateral damage, right?
Yeah. So, and I knew that had potential, because this was a privately held company. My biggest fear was back then, it was a big thing. These big companies were acquiring all these small, and we weren't really small. We were 140 million a year, but the large companies were acquiring the little private held companies. So I did make him kind of give me a little parachute clause, in case I got acquired. Because what happens when a big company comes and acquires you, they have their own engineering group, and you're gone. So
Yeah.
I had that nice luxury where I had a little bit of a severance package guaranteed.
Okay. Yeah.
So when I decided to leave that that profession and that business, there isn't much automotive down here in Florida, so there wasn't a whole lot of other places to jump to. And I had 3 daughters in high school. And if you want to live a miserable life, you pull your 3 high school daughters out of high school, move them to a different school, then you will not survive.
No kidding. Yeah.
Wow.
Guys are young kids, so you don't know that yet. But once they get junior high or high school, the hardest thing on a young lady is to move them from one school to another. So,
Oh yeah.
I'm
I had
not there,
divorced parents and I moved, and
but
it was
yeah,
rough on me. So I couldn't imagine
yeah.
a girl.
yeah,
So
3 teenage girls. Wow, that's
Yeah.
yeah.
So I looked for something for a while down here, but just decided, you know what? Why don't I just see if I could start my own business? And so I actually went to a business broker. They have business brokers very much like real estate people.
right, right, yeah.
They've got businesses listed, and sure enough, MTC Engineering was listed with a business broker, and so went to look
It
at
was
it.
destiny.
This
Yeah,
is
I mean, it was.
wild. Like this is
Yeah.
exact. I mean,
Yeah.
look, if the listeners aren't intrigued, then I don't care because this is worth the price of admission.
Yeah.
This is making my week, Eric. Like this is so exciting to me. So sorry, but carry on. Like this is wild to hear this.
Yeah. So I had some experience when I was in automotive. I had ran a mold shop for a while. So I had the CNC background, knew what it took to program, knew what CNC was all about, and so I had that. But man, I just did not have any background in the motorcycle business. I mean, I was an engineer, so I understand motors. I understand, that
Right.
technology and everything. But the drag racing community, I mean, the visions I had of drag racing, I thought, man, I'm going to go to these events and there's a bunch of crazy guys there, long haired, hippie,
Oh,
tattooed guys.
you wasn't wrong. We're
Yeah.
crazy.
So, when I went with Tony to the first couple events, and I was shocked. I mean, there was motorhomes with wives and kids and dogs, and it was a very, very different environment than what I had expected.
Now, is this before? Were you like just going with them to check it out and get a feel, or had you already?
No, I actually went to one before we finally signed
Okay.
the paperwork, and then part of our agreement was that he would stick around for 3 months afterwards and go to a couple events with me afterwards also. But
Okay.
so, because I kind of wanted to know what the customer base would be like and try to understand,
Yeah. Yeah, for
We're
sure. And
probably a lot better than the automotive world, like car world stuff. I feel like that motorcycle racers are a unique breed.
oh, that's for sure. That's for sure. At the time, Eric, what was MTC's like big products at the time?
Well, it was pretty much the same, except it was the old style lockup, just hook it to the
Yeah,
inner hub.
okay.
So it was running on the wheels.
Yeah.
MTC, when I bought MTC, they had 4 patents. The patents came along with it. One of them was the multi-stage lockup, that what we would call the Gen 1 multi-stage,
Mm-hmm.
which hooked to the inner hub and runs off the wheel speed. The slider, that is also a patented item. And then they actually had a patent on something that was very, very similar to now what we call the Gen 2. But what they were doing with that was they were using an air cylinder in the middle to hold the arms back instead of using individual springs. But it was designed the same way. It was attached to the outer basket. And it had the same idea of the arms coming out at different times with different shape arms, but it was using pneumatics to hold the arms back, kind of like a top fuel clutch that we design, where you use a cannon cylinder to allow the arms to come in at different RPMs.
That was Tony's probably working right there
Well,
because he
actually,
was a top fuel.
even that patent, all 4 of these patents were under Ken Tipton's name.
Wow.
So, yeah. So he was way ahead of the game. I mean, he
Wow.
was
Yeah.
doing motor-driven stuff back in the 80s and 90s. I mean, like I said, I've got drawings and drawers that, the dates are on them like 1985, and it's the technology of it being driven by the motor instead of the rear wheel, which is, that's what's really propelled us into the next technology level.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, Ain't that how all like this great companies start though, as somebody that's ahead of their time? It seems like that's a pretty common
Absolutely.
thing.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep.
It definitely helps. It
Yeah.
definitely helps.
And if you go back and ask some of the old guys, I'm finding pieces and parts around MTC there. MTC used to make an exhaust. I don't know if you guys ever knew that, but I have a couple of
I
exhausts
did not.
that I'll have to take a picture of it and send it to you guys. But
Yeah.
they made exhausts with the welded header. They made air shifters. They made some of their old catalogs that I have product lines in them that you just wouldn't believe. I mean, uh,
Wow.
and Ken, I don't think Ken was actually a racer, but he sure had a
Yeah.
lot of guys for him. Um, like
That was the thing. He probably took like some of his friends, they become friends, and their troubles become his passion to fix their problems. You know what I mean? Like
yeah, yes,
that would make sense. Like if I've had people, I mean, actually Spencer, like I've learned things like things that he's broke that like it needs to be better, and then of course somebody makes it. You know what I mean? But
Learn that there's a hillbilly. I learned
I
some
learned
things.
it, learned it.
at all.
So Ken, what you said, did not have a motorcycle background either?
Well, I don't know for sure. I don't think so, and I don't think he ever rode. He was the team chief or whatever sometimes because I see lots of pictures of him being at the racetrack tuning,
Yeah.
testing things out. But he had guys like Mr. Turbo, Terry Kaiser.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah.
He rode for him quite a bit. And I have a lot of old pictures down at the shop of people, names that I don't really recognize, but I'm sure guys that have been in this industry know tons of names, these guys' names that used to ride for him.
Yeah.
Uh, and so, we kind of took the same approach. One thing that's different about MTC than most companies is MTC, I think, except for Tony Lang, we weren't racers. I wasn't a racer. Ken wasn't a racer.
Right.
Most of these other businesses that are in the same market, I mean, like Brock, you guys had Brock on there. He started as a
Yeah.
racer, turned it into a business.
Mine started as a racer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dave Schnitz started as a racer, turned it into business. Dan Rudd started as a racer, turned it into a business. There's a big advantage to that. I mean, you can attest to that, Dustin. People will
Oh
buy
yeah.
from those guys because they know what it's like. They've been there, they've done that, and they've been successful at it. And so, hey, I'm going to team up with a company that's been successful. So
Yeah.
we have to take a little bit different approach than most of those companies because we don't have that history. I was not a racer, so what we do a little bit more actively probably than most of those companies do is we teamed up with people. Our first guy that was really the representative for MTC was Corey Hogan. I mean, you guys,
Yeah, yeah.
Very good one to have.
yes.
I'm a Corey fan.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
so it is so important, and it was important to us. We needed what I would call is the all-American boy, and
Yeah.
Corey Hogan was the all-American boy.
Yeah.
Very well spoken of, very polite, very positive, very out
Happy.
yeah, happy going. Everybody
Mm-hmm.
liked him. He got along with everybody. Took time to meet everybody. So we are very careful about who we choose. We used to be. We now choose Dustin, but we used to be very.
Downgraded. Damn.
Hey, Eric, you're not the only one. Dustin will tell you. I came to him with last year with the podcast and school idea, and I told him I was like, man, I need that. I need Mister 40 time at 40x at the time. I've only won a measly whatever. I don't even know 10. I can't remember. Not I don't even. I was like, I'm not won enough. I was like, I need the guy right here at the top that can bring this to the next level. So I told
And
him
I'm
flat out,
just
I
a
was
old
like, Dustin.
hillbilly.
I
Well,
was like,
I gotta recognize that is a weakness for MTCs. We don't have the hands-on. We're not racers. We don't have racers inside our system. So, one of the things to be successful is to recognize what your strengths and weaknesses are. So we analyze, well, how do we get to these people? How do we convince these people that our products are the best? And then we team up with guys like Dustin and like
yeah.
Cole
Yes.
guys.
And I mean, I was
Well,
a customer before I was, helped by you guys or working with you guys at all. Like I was a believer before, and I always have been and always will be. My dad run them when I was a kid, the
Yeah.
clutches,
And
proofs
then
in the
we
pudding.
kind of talk about sponsorship in the same aspect. We don't want to sponsor somebody who's going to be negative out there, who's going to be, always talking bad about something in the industry. So
Yeah.
again, we're just very careful about who we team up with. And I think our company, probably MTC, we sell probably a higher percentage. I mean, our dealer network is probably 80 or 90% of our sales. And
right,
again,
right.
we do that is because we usually team up with dealers that are in the industry. You know, it's very easy for me to work with a Dustin and he can reach out and reach 200 people. For me to individually reach out and touch 200 people, it takes a lot of effort. So
Yeah.
we do a lot of sales through dealer, and
It
that's
also helps you because we can tend to some of the customer service problems and that the experience that we've done or had or issue we've had with a customer with a problem, we can solve it without even getting a hold of you. You know what I mean?
Well,
Like it's
and
kind of
that's
our
a
job to help you.
And that's a huge benefit, I'm sure, Eric, and just because you don't have a just plug and play and set it and be done, like you actively have products that require not constant, but like tuning obviously and like to figure it out and tweaking it here and there. So, I I would say that without your good network of dealers, gosh, you'd have to have 5 people on staff just answering tech nonstop, I do feel
Well,
like.
saying that, he does have Kevin, and Kevin's
Well,
outstanding. And
it
Kevin will answer an email within a few hours tops. Like Kevin's
it
awesome.
that was a
and
benefit that we didn't even think about when we did
Yeah.
this.
uh-huh.
And it went both ways. So, and again, we'll just take Dustin for an example. Um, technical support is huge for our company.
Right.
And we feel it sets us apart from our competitors because a lot of our competitors, you have to either pay for it or you just don't get it. You just don't get much tech support. So we felt like tech support was huge, and we had always kind of done it ourselves. Most of our dealers will just push people to us, and we'll support anybody that buys our product, whether you buy it from us or from a dealer. But Dustin took it to the next level. He said, "Look, I can tune these clutches and I'll do tech support." It took a load off of us, and it helped Dustin in a way that he could sell a product and offer something that most dealers don't offer. So
I agree.
not only did it give us an advantage and took a workload off of us, but it gave Dustin an advantage to
Yeah.
in industry.
Got to
And
help out Kevin a little bit.
yeah,
Take some load
Right.
off of him.
Yeah, and just to clarify, I was not a knock because
No,
my
I knew you
interactions
would. I
have
just wanted to
been
make sure I give
yeah.
Kevin props
No, for
because he
sure.
is awesome.
Yeah. No,
I mean, there's times that I've talked to Kevin, like I've had, something that stumped me, or maybe I wanted to make sure if it was a new setup or something I haven't done.
well,
But
and I'm not trying to blow smoke up your ass, Eric, because I'm not trying to be that. I'm not trying to be the brown noser. But I was thinking before, earlier today, I think when I was driving home, I was thinking about that. I was like, I'm sure it's happened, right? But I just can't off the top of my head think of like instances where I've seen somebody bad mouth an MTC, like, "Oh, I couldn't get support," or this or that, and, I no shit thought of that earlier, and I was like, I really can't recall. Is it out there? I'm sure, but, like, it's just not something where, not everybody's able to achieve that level. I mean, I could name a couple co I mean, I'm not, but I'm saying there's plenty of companies that was like, "Yeah, you kinda know that about so and so," but, so yeah,
I,
it's always been our philosophy that we sell a product and we're going to support it, and we dedicate. Kevin also is my supervisor, my plant supervisor, and he builds clutches. I mean, he builds clutches. So, but my direction to Kevin is that at least once a day you sit down for an hour and a half, and return phone calls and answer emails, because we got to do it. I mean, we feel it's important. It's not, when we get your dollar, we're done with you. That's not our philosophy at all. We want to support what we sell, because we all know that if we have a happy customer, we're going to have a returning customer.
oh,
And
yeah.
yeah, kind of what Buck Ben was saying, like he's never seen anything bad or negative. Every business is controlled and operated by humans, and humans make mistakes, but it's how they handle those mistakes. Like a company like MTC, and me and Dan Rudd had this conversation the other day. Like, we're all going to make mistakes. It's all about what you do to fix it. If
Yep.
you take care of it, make sure the customer's satisfied and move on. That's what they're happy, right? Make sure. I mean, you're not, there's some customers that can really milk that, right? But for the most part, if you do what's right and make it right, there's nothing bad to be said, period. And that's
I
a value that you get from good companies, not all companies,
Hey,
but
I'm
good
getting
companies.
brownie points on this one too. I'm gonna slip it in real quick. I actually apologized to my wife earlier about something, so I'm just saying, like, hey, I was wrong. I admitted it.
Yeah, sometimes you just gotta, like we make mistakes.
Rarely
Everybody
am I
does.
wrong, but I was wrong.
Are you being recorded? Let's play this.
Yeah, exactly.
She's probably in the backdrop. He's got there poking him with something
He's
right
getting
now.
rocked by electric shock,
It'd
So
have been perfect if she walked in, but no. But hey, I did want to say real quick, you are right in that it's unique for y'all and you with not having that background and even more of the history. But I will say this. Whereas, you say that some people have there's also the advantage to have that outsider perspective. Like I'm sure had
right.
you had 2 decades of motorcycle/drag racing knowledge, like your probably learning curve would have been accelerated. But you also have a really good perspective because you can look from the outside in and have built it around that. So, I think that's good. And I'm sure that's brought some, unique ideas to the table from that.
Yeah. So, my background is manufacturing. And I
Mhm.
would say that's where I can concentrate on and that's where my strengths are. So, from where the company is now versus when I bought MTC, and we are a machine shop, okay? When I bought MTC was buying from other machine shops over $400,000 a year of product.
Oh,
They
wow.
just did not have the internal capability to machine and write programs and write code. I mean, almost every clutch product was bought from an outside company. You guys remember Falcon, right?
Oh
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Tony had a good relationship with Falcon. Falcon used to machine all of our baskets, all of our slider hats, all of our pressure plates. And I can tell you that it went, when the crash happened in 2008, I called my CNC and I had a couple CNC guys. I called them in and I said, look, we need to bring this in-house and learn how to make these parts, or one of the three of you guys won't be here next year. I mean, that's
Yeah.
just what it was going to be. It was a
Yeah,
crash.
because
Sales were going to go down, and
right.
we could make the product in-house 10 cents on a dollar. I mean, that's the difference between hiring, and machine shops are expensive. You guys know that.
Yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah.
the difference of doing it outside versus doing it inside. And that's what saved us. My
Well,
guy,
let alone the fact of the fluidness of it and be able to make something right now versus waiting on somebody else to ship it to you.
there's the big issue. Do you know, probably back when the biggest frustration I had when I took MTC over was I couldn't provide a product in a timely manner. I mean, it would take us 3 to 4 weeks to get a guy's clutch out because we were missing this part or we were missing that part or we just weren't fast at it.
Now it's 3 days.
Yeah, I mean, we try. I mean, we do a pretty good job of knowing what products are going to sell, and we try to keep inventory on everything. And it is not unusual for us to turn a clutch around in 1 or 2 days now and have it.
I mean, yeah, I've sent you a couple this evening.
Yeah.
So,
And so, that again gives us an advantage. I mean, if I can ship it out in a day, it's a clutch. Like, I mean, we're talking about a couple $1,000s. This,
yep,
even though it's a couple $1,000s, it sometimes is an impulse buy.
yeah.
So if we can capitalize on that impulse and we can provide a product to a customer in a couple of days, we're probably going to get his business.
Yep. I
And
mean,
we
as a
talk
dealer, I like that because I don't have to stock every model of a clutch that you have because you can turn it around in a couple days.
Right.
Like it helps me, you know what I mean? So I'm thankful for the fast turnaround time at MTC myself.
Yeah. And
well, go ahead.
I was gonna say the other approach we took is, we wanted to be there and meet our customers. Again, because I'm not from that world, I wanted to meet our customers, understand their needs, understand what is a typical weekend like for these guys. And so, this is, let's see, I bought it in 2005, so this is like our 18th or 19th year. And I remember
19.
when I first met Dave Schnitz, he said, "Yep, I'm finally done. I've been traveling for 17 years. Man, 17 years, that's forever. Who travels that long? Here we are. We're in our
Yeah.
year. We did like 12 races last year. We're looking at doing the same amount this year again. I just think it's important. And we have customers come up to us, and this is what's, I think, it's so cool. We have customers that come up to us and say, "Hey, I buy your products because you come to my events. You're there to support us. I know I can count on you to be there, and you give it back to us." And so we really feel that's a big part of our business.
That's a big push that I always push about your stuff is, hey, they're at the track. They're supporting the series that you race at. You can go over there and buy some new hat screws if you need to for your slider or Gen 2. They're here. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, personally, it helps me because if Eric's coming to a race, I don't bring MTC stuff because Eric's there. He's got everything they need. Why would I sell it to them when he traveled from Florida to Maryland or wherever, I'm like, no, go to Eric. He's got it. That's just the way I've always done it.
And we do the math. We don't make any money going to the track. The time you pay your hotel and your fuel and your food, and
you're paying for street cred. That's what you're paying for.
We're paying to build relationships.
Oh yeah.
We see it because I can talk to 20 guys on a weekend, and if 4 of those guys call me the next week, I had a successful weekend because they called me and ordered a set of pistons, or they called me and wanted to know more about this clutch. That's why we do it. It turns into business for us.
And plus, you meet great people. I mean, 95% of them. There's a 5%. There's a 5%er, but it's just good people. I love motorcycle drag racing.
Like going to the airport where you just sit and watch people. I go to these and watch the people.
There goes Dustin again. There goes Dustin again.
Well, I mean, you're right. That's one of the things. And I mean, as a business owner, you're sharp and smart on that. And it's, sometimes it's hard, like you said, to just look at the hard cost and the P&L sheets and be like, is this really worth it? But just as you said, and really with a lot of marketing, like sometimes it's hard to actually put a value on what you're doing, and you're just hinging, betting, whatever on that down the road, like that you're going to reap the benefits down the road. And what you just described is, I think it's spot on. Obviously it's not like back in the day, where I feel like XDA is, good, and this isn't a knock on anybody else, and there's been some midways that have been good, some of the year-end man cups and stuff like that, but it's just not like it was back in the day where it's just a flooded midway every event, blah, blah, blah. So the companies that commit and do go, I think, like you said, and Dustin and I talk about it all the time, it means something to be able to, even if they're not there every event, just like, Dustin from Penske, they're probably not going to be at every XDA, but they're going to be at some. And just even knowing that is helpful. So, it's hard to put the cost on that and the benefits, but like you said, just knowing it, it pays off at the end, I think.
So here's the migration that's happening right now. So like you said, back in the day, maybe 14 years ago, I mean, the midway was full of what I would call manufacturers. I mean, there would be nice long tables of parts, probably, I just listing off guys like, MRE and Schnitz and PR Factory and Orient Express. I mean, it was a nice midway full of manufacturers. Now, a lot of that swings because our whole environment is swinging. Social media has come to life. I mean, I can reach almost as many customers on my Facebook page as I can meet at a weekend at a track.
Yeah.
Oh, way more for sure.
That whole thing has swung. And here's the other thing that swung. Look at the owners of those companies. Let's talk about who those major owners are. Look at the age that we, and I have to include myself in this, look at the age that we're all beginning to be. Look at Jay from APE. Look at Dave from Schnitz. Look at Dan Rudd. Look at Eric from MTC. We are all getting to the age where we're all talking about retiring. That's a whole group of companies that are now looking at passing it on or closing it down or moving it forward. And I was really concerned about that. But this new group that's coming out, like a Dustin, Hard Time Parts, One Stop, Liguori Racing, there's a nice big group of young guys that are growing their own business. And it's happening, just like it did before, like a Dave Schnitz and a Dan Rudd. Those guys used to race, and they would then start selling parts and keep racing and selling parts. Pretty soon their parts stuff took off and they had to quit racing. So now they have a business.
I don't know if I can do that.
I hate to tell you, Dustin, but the same thing's going to happen.
I don't know if I can do it, boss. So if I can let it go.
There'll be a whole new group, and I'm glad to see it. I'm glad to see there's a whole new group of entrepreneurs and inventors that want to take it to the next level and turn their hobbies into business. You have to keep having that, because otherwise this is just going to fall apart. And we have to have that core of guys that want to give back to the industry.
Well, on the other side of that, I'm scared. I'm afraid to see, the older generation retire and lose them. Like if we lost you, for example, if you retired and there wasn't someone take it over, I know you got 3 daughters. I'm just saying, do they like clutch work, machine work? We might need them,
I'm afraid none of them are in the business. So
yeah, I know, right? So there's a fear in the new guy. If that happens, what what happens? You know what I mean? So, and all it takes is just one ambitious young person to come into your shop and,
Yeah.
you know, maybe one day buy it from you or whatever. That's all it takes. But
To be quite
it,
honest, I mean, I turned 61, and my wife and I, we're both in the business, and we said, look, when we get to be 61, 62, we need to start working on an exit plan. These kind of businesses, you can't just turn over to somebody else. You know, you can't do it in 6 months. So
no,
it may take 4 to 5 years. I think when I talked to Tony and took it over from Tony, I think he had it for sale for over 3 years before it
yeah,
could be sold. And there's some guys like Dave Schnitz. I'm glad Ryan and his sister are going to be taking over that business probably.
yeah.
That'll get passed on. But like a Dan Rudd doesn't have any family, I don't believe, in the business. Jay at APE, he's got a son in the business. I'm not sure, where that's going to go potentially. But
It's funny you mentioned Jay. The first thing that popped in my head was like, that guy's 18 years old. He ain't old. Like Jay and Diane do not act their age at all. Like I love those two to death. Like,
yeah, great people. I agree.
yes, yes.
Yeah. And he built that from nothing, started it in his garage,
I
and
know. I know.
tremendous, tremendous,
That's
and
the true American dream. You
he's
know what I
another
mean?
guy that is big on customer service and learning his customers, very personable type of person, so great business there. So
Yes, for sure.
Yeah, I'm with Dustin. That's one of those things that's a little scary as well. Just hearing you say it out loud, it's like, ooh, like I didn't really think about that. And it's funny because I was just having a conversation with some friends the other week, and it's like I still think of myself as young, but like I got more gray, I think, than you, Eric, at this point. It's like
I don't
I'm
think so.
like I'm still stuck in that mindset that I'm young, but it's like I'm really not. Like I'm starting to get old, like where I'm starting to even use those damn kids, and that's like oh, but
I mean, next year I'll be out of high school for 20 years. When I told myself that today, I'm like, holy cow, what's going on? So it creeps up on you.
What do you
yeah.
think's happening at the other end? Are we seeing young people get into racing? I mean, are we seeing a nice group of young people come in? I don't
There
personally.
is there is young racers. A lot of it, those like kids of already racers. You know, like we see a lot of that, a whole lot. There is people that's interested, like locally. It's all about really this. That's how you grow any kind of sport is local. You don't
Yeah.
bring a young racer to XDA and then they're hooked. You take them to the local track and let them make passes, and then they get they love it. And then after a few, times of doing it at home local where it's affordable, they happen to go to a big race. And then it just snowballs into, the whole deal, but
Yeah.
I
That's
feel
why
like that.
I don't think the idea that we've got two or three different series going on. I don't think that's negative for the industry, as long as they work together, because it helps you concentrate. Some of these smaller, and I don't mean negative, but like SDBA. I mean they have a focused market in a couple states, and it's
Yep.
working. Guys can get there in a couple hours, and
Yep.
gives them a place to race, and then at some point they travel a little bit further and go to a bigger event like an XTA event or something.
Yeah.
Well,
Ever series does have its like area. You know what I mean?
yeah.
So that's why it works good together.
Well, and I mean, Eric, you've been doing this for a while, even, without the background before MTC, but, you know, it's just not a time now where I don't ever see really maybe a national series again, right? Like it's just,
Yeah.
it's very cost prohibitive. There's a lot going on. Like I just don't know that that'll happen. So, in a sense, it's necessary to have these more regional series. You could argue so and so is this, so and so is that, and so, but when it comes down to it, different series are kind of catering to different regions of the country,
Yeah.
and to top of that. Some series are just different forms of racing. I mean, XDA is a perfect example. There's no delay box racing there. We Dustin and I hear it all the time. Oh, well, why don't they allow delay boxes? We'd come if they'd allow. Well, they don't allow delay boxes because that's their crowd. Like, I mean, it's really not even a debate to me. Like, if you want to go delay box racing, there's series that allow delay box races. And to be honest, I think it's every series but XDA. So, like,
Be
let them,
like Eric trying to sell a clutch at a MotoGP race. It ain't gonna
yeah,
happen. You know what I
yeah.
mean?
So,
I
but
agree. I don't think there'll ever be a national series again like Pro Star. I just I can remember what ProStar was like. I was amazed at what he was able to pull off and how far they traveled and how loyal his racers were. And they traveled, I mean, they traveled a long ways all the time. And
Yeah.
he had a ton of events every year. I can't remember, but it had to be 8 or so probably every year. Um, I just don't think, again, and I kind of throw a lot of that at the new norm, the new social media,
Right.
the new, the way to reach out and reach everybody now. And so I just don't think we're ever going to get back to that
I
point.
don't think we want,
We,
like,
we have
as
to
a
adjust.
business, you don't want it to. You know what I mean? I think where there's more racing out there, that more people buy stuff and build bikes, and it snowballs into more of everything because everybody's racing more, right? So if we just had one series and it had went to 12 races a year all over the country, I think it would hurt.
Yeah.
I honestly think it would hurt it.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, getting back to your kind of original question, Eric, I am slightly concerned. Like, I don't feel like I'm seeing enough new people for as we're talking, as we all get older and aging out and stuff like that. I don't feel like I'm seeing enough where I feel like we're gonna be set. But, we talked even beforehand, that's it's one of our purposes. We want to try to positively promote the sport and set some things in light. But also, there's some, like we got to give Sonny SDBA some props because to me, that's the only true beginners class in any series, and it's
Yeah,
what they call the proving grounds.
that's
You
awesome.
know, and it's a trophy class. There's no money.
Just
It's
have fun.
yeah, and
You know
they
what though? Like things like you guys are doing, like the University of Wynn University.
yeah,
So when you can take a fairly new rider, maybe he may sign up for that to learn from some of these experienced guys and not feel stupid to have to go to them and ask them, because that's what this is to teach them.
Yep.
If the guy gets some confidence, he may go to the track and start competing and racing. And so, if we
exactly.
can do that type of thing to get new people into the industry, we got to keep doing it. I love
Eric,
there's a class. So
I
we
got to toot
get
our
some.
horn a little bit. I
I
got to toot our horn. So we have
know who
a
you're gonna say
member
too.
in the University win that scared the shit out of me doing a burnout when he first started this year. Well, last year, 2023. And he won a race before the
Like,
season was
yeah, like
over.
in December, he did win a race.
It took him that year, but we took him from no burnout. Spencer Claycomb, his family member of his, he scared me doing a burnout. Till at the end of the year, he was taking that bike to his local tracks every weekend, and he finally got, I think it was 2 wins in the same weekend. And
Yeah,
we,
and
like, that just shows you that you
There's
can do
nothing
it.
else like that out there. I mean, nobody was providing that kind of service to help these guys.
No.
And if you go to an event, you just can't learn that from somebody else. Somebody's not going to give you all the pointers that you need because they're competing against you, and you don't have time to be teaching somebody. So it's a perfect setting to teach these guys and to bring their levels up.
Sounds like a good commercial.
I was getting ready to say thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm clipping this out. Me and Dustin were talking earlier about how to get more members, but thank you, Eric, because that was our goal. Like as as we're talking, this is all flowing, and in sequence. Like that was our goal. Like Dustin and me, for years I had a school in mind. It was more of an at track school, and it morphed. And for years I struggled. How can I structure it? What's the best way to do it? But as I got older, and I know Dustin did too, like, we found ourselves at the track, I'd race somebody and I'd see him in the lanes a little bit later. I'm like, especially the younger kids, well, really the younger guys, I'm usually not giving out free advice to people older than me, but I'm like, I grab the younger guy and I'm like, hey man, come here. He's like, yo, what's up? I was like, hey, I just want to say you did a good job doing XYZ, and here's why I beat you. And because you didn't do this. And like, just to see like their expression and just grateful for that help and advice and just trying to tutor them. And Dustin will tell you now with the school on Sundays when we're not racing, there is nothing better than me getting ready to go to bed and I check Facebook and we're tagged in winner circle photos from school members. Because here's the thing, and that's what's been so hard to try and get people signed up is, as you said, like we're sharing it all. I mean, like I'll tell somebody what I'm doing before the race weekend. I did this last year.
Yeah.
You
And
know,
then race a student.
yeah, and you know what? It might bite me in the ass at some point, but it is what it is. But we're sharing all because Dustin and I, we all know people that have raced for years and they enjoy it, which like first and foremost, and we say this all the time, like enjoy it because we're all racing as a hobby, right? It's fun and it should be fun, but enjoy it. But we know people that have raced for literally years that have never won a race. And, at a certain point that gets old, and it's not because they're not good enough. It's just because they might not know or nobody's ever taught them and they've not been around the right people. And my best advertisement is I tell people like, I can't, I can't wake up tomorrow or you can't wake up tomorrow, Eric, and I teach you how to dunk a basketball, right? Like, like that's not possible. But I could teach you to bracket race. Like there's no physical requirement or genetics. It's a teachable thing. So that's what I try and relay to everybody is, you know, I know it's hard to believe, but Dustin and I were literally talking about this afternoon. In my eyes, he's the best motorcycle drag racer, just in my eyes. But we don't possess some crazy special skill, Dustin. We just know what we're doing and we've learned it over years and we're teaching people. Like it's not like I have this genetic gene that makes me win races. That's far from the truth.
And that is one thing that I see in this industry, in this drag racing community, is it seems like a lot of people want to help a lot of other people in the industry, and you don't always see that. You don't
Right.
see, a lot of times it's kind of cutthroat. You don't tell anybody anything about what you're doing. But I do see, I mean, a lot of times, like, and I know you guys experience this. Somebody will break apart. I mean, I'll be at an event and they'll come over the PA and say, "Hey, does anybody have one of these here? Can somebody weld this? Let so and so know." And it happens all the time, and it's kind of unique, I think, to our industry, how people
I
help it
agree.
move along.
Motorcycle drag racers,
It's
man,
a
they're
family.
special. I'm
Well, it's a
telling you,
big family.
they are
They're
special.
pretty weird, but they're pretty.
Yeah, yeah, we're weird, crazy, running around, mullets, whatever you described earlier. We're all that, but we're special.
Yeah. But even going back to that, like it's really kind of the new people too, like that is something that worries me is like that they might get frustrated like Dustin said, perfect example. Kyle, he's brand new and he was like full in, right? Like I remember the first SDBA, the first time we see him on the bike, like Dustin saying it was scary, but we were all there. But he got so excited and like just took it on full bore and he was determined to do well. And I'm like, we're not taking all the credit by any means, but say had we not had the school or something, and there was nobody to kind of maybe lead him, like he wanted to do so good that he might have just got frustrated and stopped at a certain point. So he went from, getting his feet wet, kind of like a lot of us did. I know I did personally on a friend's bike. He did it on Spencer's bike. Now he's got his own bike. He's got his own setup. Like he has went full bore in. And like you said, that kind of comes full circle. Like that's what we need to keep growing and getting new blood in the sport.
Yeah, it's we always talk about, as a company, giving things back. That's when we sponsor events, we sponsor classes, and you racers are doing the same thing. I mean, you're giving it back, and you've just structured it now. You've built a structure where people can learn this and be part of it, and they just learn from each other. It's an amazing. I've seen it too. I think we did a podcast, and you can just tell the guys are just soaking this stuff in, and asking the right questions. And when they start asking the right questions, you're effective because they are understanding what you're saying and they want to know
Yeah.
more.
Yep. As you
I'm a
mentioned,
believer there's not a wrong question. If you're asking question, you're wanting to learn. That's what I think. I mean, if
Absolutely.
they want to learn and they're passionate about it, they'll go somewhere.
and as you mentioned, we were fortunate to have, for all the listeners, we had Eric on months ago on the University Win on one of our weekly calls. And as you said, like it was really cool when we have guests on. It's just great that we have this tight community of members and they're free to ask questions. And gave us an hour and a half of your time and, they felt comfortable and they really learned and took something from it. But, man, I had to say something though. You tickled a little bit of a rant slash spot with me and Dustin talking about the new blood, and I want to give props, and it's a discussion that it's beating the dead horse, man. I'll tell you what, I'll give you the perfect example. And this is a free promo. It's not paid. It's free. Well, I guess you could say MT sponsor, but look, here's the point. The Gen 2 clutch is effing amazing for new riders. There's always the debate is Street ET a beginner's class, blah blah. We won't get into this. I want to give you an example. I was racing. My brother, we've been around racing my whole life, but we started in cars, Eric, my family. Um, I started racing bikes. My brother was like, "Hey, I want to race bikes." He's never been on a bike. So we put him on a bike with a Gen 2 clutch and could confidently and comfortably tell him what to do. And when you just explain to somebody, especially if they don't have any bad habits, which he didn't, like, hey, here's what you do: rev the bike up to 4,000, throw the lever as fast as you can, hit that button when the light comes on. It's easy. And you know what? My brother doesn't have time to go spend countless weekends at the track testing and tuning and figure out a hand clutch, a stock clutch, and blah, 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 blah. So, man, that's a tough spot for me and Dustin. It's a pain point, but I just want to point out that, there's that debate of this and that on the clutch. And as far as it pertains to classes, but I'm telling everybody that was willing to listen all, it is a great tool for beginners, because when it's set up properly and, you got it on, you got the bike and the setup right, you can put anybody on the bike and safely let them loose. If they just listen to your simple instructions, launch it at the right RPM. Hell, if you got a two-step, just in all it is with the standalones, you can literally just let them go. So I just want to point out that, in my opinion, aside from all the benefits of a Gen 2 clutch, like, to me, one of the biggest is it makes entry into this phenomenal. Like, we don't have to spend all that time trying to figure out how to slide the clutch properly and get frustrated, because some people don't ever get good at that either.
It's
It was
it's
a
kind of it's kind of funny that you talk about that because, you know, we were kind of caught in the middle of it's an expensive clutch. I mean, there's a lot of parts to it. There's a lot of technology to it. So it costs a lot of money to make. So, it's a $2,000 clutch. So I understood when they would say, look, we don't want to allow these clutches in these classes because it's too expensive for these guys to come in and do it. And yet the rub against it all was this clutch can help a racer race. I mean, this clutch can be a safety issue for a racer. This clutch can give a guy confidence. So I know that we were caught in the middle of that, and I was okay with them banning it in certain classes because there's got to be entry levels where guys aren't, it's not, you can't buy your victories. Understood all that. We just felt like, okay, well, we're going to continue to make a product. We're going to continue to improve it. We're on like version 4 or 5 now of this design. I mean, we just keep tweaking it and making it better, and then finally, what was it, about 4 years ago, all the sanctioning bodies said, you know what, we're going to allow air on your clutches. What can we do with air? So then we developed our air assist, and that led to a whole nother line of products. And now, I mean, the technology is just so amazing now. I mean, we're using air with sliders now, and sliders are starting to act like Gen 2 clutches because we can bring that air in. The controllers have such unbelievable technology in it. You can bring that air cylinder in whenever you want to, however much time you want to, how often you want to, oscillate it or whatever, and you basically have a variable clutch. And so the technology just keeps moving uphill. And if we don't stay with the technology, if we don't stay with what the sanctioning bodies are allowing, we're going to die as a company. So that's why
yeah,
we try to stay ahead of it. So
yeah, I agree. I mean, I honestly think that the original Gen 2 probably wasn't even a thought of being in every bracket bike in Pro ET, but it's become a probably a more common part for bracket racers than it is pro guys. You know what I mean? Because there's
I mean, since we're talking about that, you want to know why I chose just to team up with you?
because you wanted to get them out there, probably.
Exactly. We wanted to get into those classes, and
Yep.
you knew everybody in those classes. You were competing in those classes. So, like I told you guys earlier, we're very picky who we pick. And I'm not saying this to be mean to anybody, but we're very picky in who we pick. And it's not only because of the person, but it's because of the market we're going after. I was so
Yep.
impressed with Brock's and his philosophy on his sponsorship and the programs he's put together. We come at it a little bit different, but it's the same idea. I mean,
Yep.
we find a market that we want to penetrate, and because we're not racers, we will pick a person that will help us penetrate that market. Years ago, we sponsored women because women were coming into the market, and we felt like we wanted to get on board with a couple because we knew there was going to be more and more women involved, and so we wanted to take advantage of that. We
Yeah.
wanted to get into these classes that you're competing in. The best way we felt we could do it would be to team up with somebody who's successful in those classes, and that's why we did it. So.
Yeah, I mean it's funny because back to the clutch thing of people, oh, he wins because of Gen 2 and this and that, but 95% of those people all have those clutches now. And it just makes me smile because they're still not always winning. You know what I mean? It's a great product, but you
Yeah.
still have to be a great racer. You know what I mean? And the product will do its job, but there's still the human involved. And if you got the loose screw in the saddle, we tend to mess up sometimes, right?
What makes me smile is somebody who has fought against that Gen 2 technology for 5 or 6 years, and the first time they run it, they can't get the grin off their face, and they just
Yes.
can't believe they haven't done it
I mean,
before.
we this is supposed to be fun, and the big thing for me was it wasn't fun working on my clutch when I had a stock clutch after the race day for the next day. I'm like, man, like, yeah, you don't want to spend 2 grand, but also I'd like to hang out with my buddies that's waiting on me to get done with this. And
Yeah, but the
now,
the clutch packs will pay back, eventually.
yeah, so that's what I'm getting at. So you get money back from less clutch wear because I don't wear clutches out. I've actually, there's probably parts of my clutch pack in my bike right now that's probably got 3 or 4 seasons on them. There's
Yeah.
probably pieces still in there. I try to keep on it like twice a year, which ain't nothing really compared to a stock clutch. So it does pay you back in material. You don't wear out fibers, you don't hurt steels. I mean, once they're set up properly, it's bulletproof. You can mess it up, but if you just ride it right and leave it alone and don't do dumb stuff, man, them things like I don't have a bike without one.
Well,
Period.
and that what you're saying, Eric, like, and that does stink. I get, that stinks from a business perspective that some of the classes and rules got changed a little bit. Hopefully it wasn't like didn't really affect, MTC per se too much. But, to me, those are two different things. You know, we get it. Dustin and I get it. I think most people understand, like, there's something to the riding aspect to have that. We're okay with that. We're 100%. We've always supported that. Like, hey, you want to have a class that's true hand clutch and you're riding, that's fine. Um, but the whole our hold up, me and Dustin's hold up has always been well, it's a beginner's class.
Yeah,
No
I don't.
shit. I mean, that's my point. Is this can bring more people into it if it's supposed to, which I personally I've never said street ETs. I mean, you go to XDA and street ET, there's 100 people in there and there's some badass riders in there. So to me, I don't look at a street. That goes back to, not too many people decide to start motorcycle drag race and just pick XDA as their first race. They go to
The
their
local
local
tracks
track.
where
Yeah.
beginners are.
So, to me, that's you start there, and that also helps. That stimulates your local track and economy. You start there and you work your way up. So I've just, and this is my personal opinion, is just, I've never been hey, Street ET is a beginner class. Now, if you want to say Street ET should be a rider's class per clutch, okay. But my rebuttal to that is, look, I understand bracket racing. This is what we're teaching, right, Eric?
Mhm.
There's nothing that says I can't have a bleeder. I could put a bleeder on a stock clutch. I can gear my bike and bog my bike. I used to really do that. I used to just basically bog the hell out of my bike, throw the clutch, and it worked. It was pretty consistent, not nearly as, but like I wasn't really riding it per se. So, that whole thing. And yeah, like you said, is it the cheapest item? No, but I'll tell anybody if you want to start drag racing, get you a junked up Busa as cheap as you can find, as long as the engine's running good. You're gonna put a swing arm on it. You're gonna put an air shifter, put a Gen 2 clutch. You're done. That's it. I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
is that thing is the clutch cheap? No, but I mean, dude, everybody can get started and have a really nice setup for under 10 grand. And I mean, like, to be honest, that's not a lot I come from cars. That's why I started racing bikes, Eric. I couldn't afford car stuff. I got a so I rode that thing to the track for a whole year. Then I got a 6x12 trailer the next year. That was great. I slept in that trailer. Then, now we're looking and, I got a huge trailer. I'm looking for, like, it obviously expanded and I surpassed that. But there was a point where I raced motorcycles because that's all I could afford. So,
It's like any product. When new technology comes out, it's resisted a little bit because it's expensive and it changes everything. But if you look back at drag racing, I've been in it long enough to know that every time something new comes out, there's resistance to allow it to happen.
right.
Even like, we, simple little things, air shiftings, or the big argument about the delay boxes and all the technology you can do with controllers.
You can't run from technology.
Yeah, you can't. You just gotta
Got to
embrace it and grow with it, And so,
Yeah.
like I said before, when they said, okay, you can use air, like I think it was Next Level Racing, Sebastian, he came out with an air clutch and he got approved with some of the sanctioning bodies. I think Man Cup allowed it. And once they said, hey, yeah, you can use air, to me, that's a variable clutch. And so, we just, okay, let's instead of fighting it, we could have said, oh, now they're going to, let our competitors, get ahead of us. We decided we're going to be part of that market. We're going to move forward with that technology and utilize it. And
said,
so,
hold my beer. Watch this.
For sure.
I think we have some of the best air assist clutches out there now, that is the next step, So
something I wanted to point out while you were on here, that way the whole Red Hill Racing followers can hear it. Everybody knows MTC and Eric for clutches, and they also know them a little bit on pistons and rings, of course. But people be forgetting that Eric at MTC has lots of gaskets in stock, KMP billet filters. They do bore and replating on like through Millennium. Like if you need a big block exchange or whatever, like little things like that, people forget about. I tell my competition dealers all the time, like, don't be sleeping on Eric. He's got gaskets on the shelf. Like I know you do, because I've had to get him a few times in a pickle.
One of our biggest market that a lot of people don't hear about is our cylinder department. I have a guy that 40 hours a week is doing nothing but boring. So we do so many, and it's not really in the drag racing, but it's in the Harley world. We do so many cylinders where we are completely boring out. We're taking a 4-inch bore or cylinder, boring the sleeve completely out, dropping a new sleeve in it, and honing it up to 4.5 inches.
Wow, that's awesome.
That department right now is booked out 2 months. It's January, and I'm booked out 2 months in our cylinder work.
And I didn't even know that. I didn't know that one of your biggest like workloads is boring V-twin blocks. I had no idea.
We have. I mean, one of our customers, and I'm not going to say, because we do kind of this stuff in the back. We're a manufacturer. We want manufacturing work, so we don't have to be on the front page. We don't have to be the name brand out there. But one of our customers, it's nothing for him to not have 30 or 40 sets of cylinders at my shop. Wow. Waiting for us to get the work done and get it back to them.
That's awesome. I mean, I love it. Like you're doing your passion right there. That's exactly what you want. You know what I mean?
But that's smart too, because I mean, that's a huge market. I mean, like our little motorcycles is a small niche, right? Like much smaller than cars. And then you go to racing motorcycles, that's a smaller niche. Then you go into drag racing motorcycles, we're like talking about this. Like you're like going into V twins where like you have millions and millions of those guys, whether they're street riders, street racers, some a little bit. I mean, like that's just smart. But Dustin did the perfect segue, and I think he did on purpose because he knew that like me and him would just latch on the clutch.
Getting you off that clutch
2
thing,
hours. So tell the listeners.
A lot of people don't realize that we do pistons, and we do some tremendous piston work and
custom piston work.
And there's nothing very secretive about it. I mean, you guys had Rodney on here, Rodney Williford.
Yep.
We do most of his piston work. I mean, he's got the fastest. I mean, he's the all-time pro street racer, and
I mean,
we do most of his work for him. So
saying that, every turbo pro street customer that I have runs your pistons.
Yeah. And we do a lot of the, one of our biggest fears over the last 5 years was, we're all starting to see this whole KZ and GS market going away because I'm telling you, the young racers don't want to build a rolling chassis and put a motor in it. They want to buy, like you said, go buy a Hayabusa, and you can do it cheaper and you can go faster. So why not? I understand that. And I'm telling you, we were 70-80% GS and KZ. I mean, that was our background. That's where MTC kind of came out of. And we have been making, and we still make a ton of that old GS sliders and KZ sliders and, lockups. And so, and it's all shifting and changing now. So we had to grow. We had to shift our markets. We had to go after the Gixxer 1000s. We have to go after the Hayabusas, the ZX14s. So we did that. We made the move, and shifted it over. And so for a long time there, we were bringing out a lot of new products. And talking about kind of new products, I kind of need to apologize to our customer base. We have been pretty quiet for the last couple of years as far as bringing out new products. And I'll tell you why. We have faced, just like everybody else, tremendous increase in material costs
Right.
and in supplier costs, springs and rings and wrist pins and that kind of stuff. So what we have really been focusing on for the last couple years through COVID and everything is to try to reduce our costs, because I cannot pass. I mean, I'm telling you, we buy big round lengths of aluminum, like 6 foot
Right.
long, 8-inch diameter. It has doubled, 100% increase in that material cost in the last 3 years.
Oh, I believe it.
Possibly pass that on to my customer. Nobody, I mean, I understand this is a hobby to most people, so we can't do it. So what have we been doing? We have been buying new equipment, because the old equipment that we had in house, the spindle speeds were only 6,000 RPM. Well, I can only push so hard on an end mill going through a piece of steel at 6,000 RPMs. But this new machine I've got can run 12,000 RPM. Guess how much faster I can push that tool?
Right.
So
Turnaround time, baby.
yeah, we have been concentrating on improving our cycles. And in some cases, we have cut our cycles in half, but we have to do that because our material costs, I have no control over that. So
Yep.
in order for me to try to keep competitive and keep my pricing down, and that's why I say I'm a manufacturer. What's important to me is how to control my manufacturing, because that's what controls my bottom dollar.
Right.
So we push, and we have been focusing a lot on improving our cycles, improving our equipment. And so when you do that, you don't always roll out new products. So we've been a little lax in getting some new stuff out, but we'll be back. We'll be back. So
We know, and I love it. Like you will address issues as they come if there is one. But thankfully, you've had, if you do have a new product, you've had test dummies, and make sure there's. I've been one of those test dummies, and make sure that nothing's wrong and everything is going to work proper before it's even released to the public, and that helps you from wasting money, and material, and building something that don't work or whatever. So I'm thankful because you do your turnaround times. You've been working on your process, which also helps the process of customers getting what they need. So
Well, and that's
I
something
respect that.
yeah, and that's something I want to touch on earlier too that y'all already talked about, but like you're 100% right. Like we're playing with people's, fun money. So like having stuff available, they don't want to wait. If somebody's got $1,000, like they want to spend it on a race part. So if they can't get this race part, they're gonna get the next. So I mean that's just smart. But tell tell the listeners, what else do you all do, Eric? Because we got clutches, pistons, like cylinder boring and honing like there. I know there's more. Let them know, because like Dustin said, a lot of people they do clutches, and okay, well, I think they do pistons, but the boring and like there's more to it. What else do you have? Let everybody know. You got to be thinking MTC top of mind. This is our sales
I
pitch
didn't
now. We're
really want
going
to turn
into
this
it.
into an advertisement.
No, it's all right. Hey,
You
they're
know,
tuned
Yeah,
in, but
they need to know.
info, yeah.
that's pretty much, I mean, I think we've covered it pretty much, but like Dustin said, we probably have, I don't know, $8,000 to $10,000 worth of gaskets in house. We carry, probably $4,000 to $5,000 worth of rings and wrist pins, in house. Cause we do make piston kits, but a lot of guys just need a new set of rings every year and everything. So we carry that. You know, steels and fibers. I mean, when we go to the tracks, we bring steels and fibers with us. We have some custom, what we call chrome steels that nobody else does, and they work well on some of our clutches. And we carry a lot of the old school KZs and GSs and Gixxer, fibers and stuff. So a lot of that stuff, we'll take to the track. That gives us the small item that's going to be consumed probably at an event. So we can sell that type of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, and our cylinder department, like I said, we do a lot of repairs. I don't know, a lot of guys, there's a lot of motor damage on these weekends. And it's nothing for me to go home with 3 or 4 blocks in the trailer that we're taking back, and we're dropping sleeves out and putting new sleeves in and repairing them and getting them back getting them back to the customers. So a lot of rebuild stuff. Clutches aren't just building new clutches. Guys are always sending us, their clutches run all year. Let's put some new rivets in it. Let's put some new springs in it.
Yeah.
So half of our work is repair work. So we don't
Repair
just make
service.
products. We do a lot of service work for guys. So
No, I mean, that's good to know too that people can do that. What about, I know you're harping on the manufacturing. Are you able to, or do you take on like outside projects, or are you just kind of at max capacity with the MTC lineup?
You know, a couple of years ago when things were a little bit slow, we actually took on some contract work and did some
Hmm.
contract work for other companies out of the
Right.
industry. We had some capacity, some excess capacity, so we took on work. I'd rather not do that because we specialize, in this market, and
Yeah.
one of the things that we do is our machines are kind of dedicated to. We've got a couple of machines. We call them, piston CNCs because I don't know if you know how a piston is run, but we've got like multiple setups, 6 or 7 setups in the machine. One setup is to do the intake valves, one setup is to do the exhaust valves. The other setup has got a rotary on it to put the oil holes. I mean, if you look at a piston, there's a lot of machining on a piston. So
A lot of angles.
yeah, that machine is basically set up to do pistons. So you can't hardly run, and you can't afford to take all those vices out and put them back in at a different time. So we leave them in and we dedicate those machines. So when I told you we brought all this work in, that was one of the things we had to do, was because we didn't make clutch products in house. We had all of a sudden make all these fixtures and make all these vices to hold all these clutch parts and learn how to do that. I taught our guys how to, I mean, we bought a little CAD software and taught our guys how to write programs, write CNC programs to do it in house. And man, that has just freed us up a tremendous amount. I mean, it used to be for us to go from concept to a finished product, it'd be nothing like 6 to 8 months because you had to go to an outside shop. You had to send a drawing to the outside shop. And if you made a mistake, you lost all that time. And that shop is just like us. They may have had a 4 or 5 week lead time just to make you one little part. And guess what the cost of that one part was? Because they're doing a 2 hour setup to run a 15-minute part. So
Yeah.
we were able to bring that in house. That just changed our whole company. I mean, our whole ability to bring product to market, and to develop new product. And, we're constantly we always get feedback from customers. We're always playing this balance between being robust and being lightweight.
Yeah.
And I know people hate us for it, but we'll come out with a new hat design because it's 30 grams lighter. But you
Yeah, but
know,
it doesn't, I just blanked on it. Um, you know what I'm saying? It's not like why can't I think of the word? It doesn't cancel out the old
no,
one still
Yeah.
works. It
Yeah.
no,
doesn't,
but a guy I call me and say, I just bought this.
yeah.
Now you came out with something better. They get it
Well,
off.
buy this one. I mean, I got a
Yeah.
new one. Check it
Yeah, can
out.
I trade mine in for that one?
Right, right.
Yeah, I've been running it for 6 months. Sorry, I can't
Ah,
trade it.
no. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
we're always trying to take some weight off, but still we want to be strong enough. Because we've seen that some of our competitors make them so light they just don't last. They're just not robust. The last thing I want is our name tied to something that isn't strong enough to do the job that it's supposed to do. So, and I'll give you an example that our Gen 2 inner hub.
Oh, I was about to say that. You took the
We,
words right out of my
we
mouth.
took some we took some weight out of it. We went pretty skinny on it. We actually put 6 holes in the back side of it, put some ribs in there, and put 6 holes in it. And sure enough, these crazy Pro Street guys broke it. I mean, I couldn't believe they were breaking this inner hub.
Well, I wasn't going to
Um,
mention that. I was going to mention the fact that it's a tough MFer because they don't never get indentions from the steels. Like I've run your clutches before for 4 or 5 seasons, and the inner hubs still look fine. Like, and I've run stuff that didn't do as good. I'm like, man, this inner hub that you guys offer is a tough dude. Like the
funny,
steels don't indent it bad or nothing.
we'll design a product for what's out there at the market. So I think when we made that inner hub, probably the horsepower was running in the 500 or 600 range, and the guys that were doing 700 to 800 horsepower all of a sudden break these inner hubs for us. So we went back, we made them solid again, and then we said, you know what, let's there's more ways to kill a bird. So we said, let's just try different material. So we made what I would call a high horsepower inner hub. Now it's out of 7075 material. It's hardened, and so now the guy, and it's solid in the back. So now we have choices. You can pay a little bit less if you have less horsepower. It's still like Dustin was saying, still is robust enough for that application. But we've also made something now for so just because a product, I mean, we learn a lot from a failure,
Oh
and
yeah, well,
because you have failures doesn't mean you're not growing and learning. And so we just make a better product. We make something that's available for the next guy at the next level. So
well, in racing too, like the racers pushed it. We found a breaking point. It wasn't nobody's fault. That's just what happens in racing is you find a breaking point. Like how much nitrous will it hold? We're going to find out. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
eventually something's going to give up, you know.
Yeah, and
Um,
we're doing that with our pistons all the time too. And again, we don't talk much about that, but um, piston weight is a huge issue. You have a lot of mass up there. Rotating mass is always killing horsepower. So we're always trying to thin things down and make things thinner, make it, a little bit less weight, a little bit less weight. But then you get to a point where things start flexing. Your bosses start flexing. Well, when your bosses start flexing, your side skirts start flexing, and pretty soon you lose ring seal or you start cracking skirts. So we're always going back and forth between robustness and lightness. That's the battle you
right.
fight when you're talking about
A
horsepower.
quick little thing. When I was a kid, one time we were at a race, and my dad had sent Paul gassed his whole engine to build one. And we were walking through the pits, and Paul come up to Dad, and he had a piston in his hand, and he run pro stock motorcycle at the time. And the valve pocket in the piston was collapsed, where Paul had machined it to lighten it up for pro stock. It got so thin that the compression just closed it down. And Dad was like, "What is that?" He goes, "Oh, yours won't do that. This is pro stock stuff." So it's funny where you're talking about the weight of the piston, like in pro stock motorcycle. Of course, they're going to milk it and make it as light as possible, and they'll remember how many passes it was when it failed, and then they'll stop one pass before that before
Yeah.
they, to
And,
service it.
and Paul Gass is a fine example. We make a lot of custom. Paul's a brilliant tuner and engine guy.
Yes.
We make a lot of custom, and he's not afraid to. Hey, let's change this a little bit. Let's change this, and he's having trouble, lifting this ringland or something, and so we'll tweak it and make a batch of this, and then he'll just put more horsepower to it, of course, and then that worked good for a year, but now we're doing this, and so then we got to change the design again. So
This
those are the
this
people
was
we like to work with.
this was probably about '05 when this come happened, like maybe '04, '05. And Paul was at the racetrack with an apron on with aluminum shavings all over him because he'd been in the trailer just grinding one out. He was lightening that baby up for the next pass. It was
I
just
think
awesome.
what I should do sometime is I get these sample pistons back from these customers because they want me to match them. And I look at the inside and somebody has just taken a hacksaw or something to them. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
People go in and try to get weight off of pistons, and they do it with, I don't know, grinders,
Ah,
4-inch grinders. I'm not sure what they're using, but it's hilarious. Sometimes we get these pistons.
Yeah.
These
that
people are
that
running them and they're working, and then they want me to, hey, can you match this?
that sounds like some my buddy Doug Gall stuff. He would do some shit like that probably.
Yeah.
Probably so. Man, I know I think me and Dustin had told you a little bit like one of the things we want to do and we just got to make it work, but you're on the list 100% field trips. We want to do some field trips with the podcast and do some like, come and check out the facility and like you talking about the setups of the CNCs. Like I'm super excited. We
We
definitely have
would
to make
love to
that.
have you guys down there. And, I don't think there's any trade secrets there. I would have no issue showing you guys how we do this, how this runs, how these machines, how we do the setups. There's just, I don't think there's any issues there. And I feel if a customer understands how their product is made, that's better for me as a manufacturer and as
Oh,
a customer. So
Oh,
I
it's
would,
just good for everything altogether. We want to do the field trips to all our sponsors, and I went to your place about 5 years ago. This year it'd be 5 years, and of course everybody was going to lunch when I got there, but you took me around, and I mean it is exactly what you say. It's a machine shop, and it's awesome. Like I loved every bit of it. It was my father-in-law was with me, and we thoroughly enjoyed it. And he talked about it all the way home. How much he liked it. So I know if my father-in-law who don't race liked it, everybody that listens to this and watches this stuff will love it. So I'm like, man, we gotta make field trips for all of our awesome
that would
sponsors
be
and
well,
awesome.
stuff.
It'd be educational, and people can understand maybe anytime again you can understand a supplier better and understand what it takes to make a product. I think a lot of people have an impression that, oh, why does this cost so much? And hopefully we can explain,
Gonna show them how much work goes on down there.
yeah.
That's right.
Wow. I mean, we all three we're on that back end where we know and understand, but a lot of times when we're frustrated and scratching our head and like, what, why did they think it was too much or why is it this or why is it that? And it's like a lot of times it's just the other people don't know. So yeah, I'm with you
Yeah.
100%. Like, and that's one of the cool things. Like that we want to, why we want to do it, because being able to share this behind the scenes stuff, like it's just good in general. Like people get the knowledge that they feel good. They got more of a connection with this company. They also are better educated. Like we're saying that, like, oh, that makes sense. Like now I'm seeing the steps, and so on and so forth. So yeah, like, but I will say this, like you're going to be on the list either in the next month, which is probably less likely, or end of the year, because we're not going to Florida anytime before, we're going to go when it's cold where we are.
Oh no, you guys are down there strictly business. Don't worry about the weather. Come down and do your business,
Well,
man.
we're going down. We're going fishing's where we're going at some point while I'm down there. Eric's taking me fishing.
But if you're going fishing, you got to come now because the bass are bedding and it's time.
Oh no! Here we are.
You got to come.
Hey, I'm
They're-
just saying, you're talking to two people that are their own boss. I mean, we might could twist some elbows and stuff and get on that and get on
Three
that.
worlds
You got a
collide.
good point. I mean, for example, when we make a piston, it goes through 7 different pieces of equipment,
You showed me
crazy.
that.
and
Yeah, you showed me the
4 of them
process.
4 of them have to have a what we call a CNC program written. So, it takes a lot of work, and every time we change the design, every time we move something on a piston, you got to rewrite that CNC program. So, it's
Not to mention how much the CNC itself cost.
yeah,
Like that's huge.
That's-
People, well, that's another whole level.
Yeah.
Like the electric bill in that place would cripple some like me.
I don't know if I'm unique, but I really love that stuff. Like I was saying at the beginning, I love business, but just knowing how stuff's made and all, like one of the coolest things I've ever done, I feel like, was, got a tour of Vance and Hines and everything they do there. And I'll tell you what, the biggest thing that blew me away, and I know this is going to sound weird, that place is freaking clean. And I'm talking about they make stuff like I'm like, look around my garage and I'm like, I don't make anything and my garage is dirty. And like there's stuff like, how do they keep that place that clean? But getting that behind the scenes, I'm 100% not only for my personal, just enjoying it, but yeah, that's something Dustin and we've talked about it and we're gonna do it. We just got to make the time to. But that's the beauty of though being racers. We got motorhomes, so we'll just jump in the motorhome. We're gonna do a road trip. We might vlog about it or live stream it part of the way. That's honestly what we're gonna do. We were hinging on Dustin to make it to Vegas for the NHRA finals last year. We had good plans of doing crazy live streaming as we drove across the country.
Yeah, he's such
I'll
a
let-
letdown sometimes.
I let us. It still hurts. The ticket's sitting right here on this desk.
Oh.
Oof, that one hurts me, guys.
Yeah, I had
Hurts
to
me.
bring that up.
He's a slacker. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Yep. First attempt in what,
10 years.
15 years?
Yeah,
Yeah,
and you got within what, 5 points of making it, or how close were you?
5 fouls what I lost
Yeah.
by.
Oh my word.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm still salty about it, but it's all right. It'll be okay.
Yeah.
I got the rest of my life.
So, do you have anything new you can tease or new stuff that you did want to talk about?
I think right now, like I said, we've been so focusing kind of, I hate to say it, internally to try
Yeah.
to some of our costs and try to, stay competitive. We're going to just expand some of the things, like I said, we came out with what we call an air assist. We came out with a ride back, but we've only done it for a couple models. So we're going to start expanding that into different models. We have been, and this doesn't have a lot to do with, I mean, you talked about niche markets, drag racing
Right.
is such a tiny little niche market. We have really been working on trying to get into the street market a little bit more, and we're focusing on the Harley Davidson street
Right.
market.
That's
So
an absolutely great place to go.
we're
100%.
looking at developing some new clutch products. Harley's just like the metric guys. They've got your normal, it's a whole different level. Normal horsepower is 70 horsepower, but then there's a whole group that can do about 180 horsepower. And you need a clutch for that. And then
Right.
there's another group that goes up to 300 to 350 horsepower because they got turbos. And we have that clutch. So we have this top end clutch and we have kind of a mid of the road, but we don't have a clutch that that you can just kind of slip in and ride on the street. And
So I am that guy. Like I built a Milwaukee 8 Street Glide. It made 154 horsepower and 154 pounds of torque, which is double of what it made factory. And we had to put different springs and then a little arm that was longer so your hand didn't die when you were pulling the clutch in when you rode it. And I will build another one day. So guess what? Dustin gets more MTC stuff because I'll be buying some of that stuff for my Street Glide one day.
Now, it's a huge market. I would say it's much, much bigger than the drag racing. But
100%.
there's a lot of players in that market too. You're going to run into some competition that you didn't have before. There's already several clutch, people that are doing it. So, we're just going to rely on, a lot of times companies prove their stuff out on the racetrack and then it
Yeah.
goes on the street. So we're going to do the same thing.
Yeah.
People,
We got people that can represent you.
yeah. And there's a lot of dealers that they build these, the biggest thing. I mean, you guys know that the baggers and the bagger races just going off the charts the last couple of years. So we have made a Gen 2 basically for the bagger guys, and it's doing phenomenal. And so those dealers now that are putting those in, they also have the low end. Well, I don't want to say low end, but 150 horsepower. And since they're already a dealer for us, I think we can capitalize on that, and
Oh, yeah.
they'll represent our product. And so we have an
Absolutely.
do it, and we have a market, so we just got to get the product tweaked to make it work well, and then go
I
after
love it. I love it. I like pushing toward new things and trying stuff and getting more products out there. That's what makes the world go round.
Absolutely. Gives us nice balance. We're very cyclic. I mean, you guys are aware of that race season,
Yeah.
we're just now getting into what's going to be our peak months. January, February, March, April. Everybody's got to have it, but they don't get it until the last minute. So always behind schedule, and our sales peak, and then it's levels off a little bit in the summer for us, and then come October, November, December, there's no racing, not much racing going on, so it's not. So we have worked really hard. When I took over MTC, we worked really hard on setting up dealers in Australia because their racing season is opposite of ours here. So we have grown our market over there quite a bit, but it's still not. They're not big enough there to offset, the sales.
Right.
So that's why we want to go after a street market, because street markets there, all year round.
Especially in Florida.
Yes, absolutely. Out west. So, we like I said, we always, we put a business plan together and we target certain markets, and then we partner with people and get a good product and go after it. So
Awesome. Awesome. Well, I know we're getting pretty late in the evening for those of y'all that forget, we record it usually Tuesday nights. It's nearing 10 o'clock. So is there anything else? We don't want to get you up past your bedtime. So anything else, any little last parting words or anything? We definitely appreciate you taking the time out of your busy schedule to join us and talk all things MTC. Anything else you want to shout out real quick?
I just appreciate the opportunity to be on here. And, I think, some of the things we talked about, I think it's very important that we as manufacturers and we as racers keep this industry going. So we need to continuously look at how to bring new people in and give them the tools to be successful and enjoy this and to grow it. And so if we can do that as a team, I think we're heading in the right direction. So
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah, I think
100%.
we're all on the same page there. And I'm just gonna say one last time, like Gen 2 clutch is amazing for new racers. I'm just saying that's the ticket right there. My brother
Hey,
still can't ride a damn stock clutch bike. And I'm not comfortable when he's tried, but I can close my eyes and throw him on that bike and he's good.
yep.
So anyways,
guys,
all right.
All right.
We appreciate you taking the
Yes,
time
sir.
out. I know I enjoyed this. I'm sure the listeners will as well. It was really good to get the background story of MTC and you and becoming involved in buying that company. And I'll tell you what, we're very thankful and happy to have you in this sport because obviously the innovations and the products and the customer support as a whole, it's there. And it goes without saying that MTC supports the sport. So I don't think we had to say any more about that. If you're listening, you know who to support and support those that support us. So without further ado, we appreciate you so much, Eric, and we look forward to seeing you at the racetrack.
all right, guys, man, we'll talk soon.
Have a
All
good
right.
night.
All right,
See ya.
Thanks.